If you do see any actual evidence of massive red flags, then you can go to him and say, she's got 4 ex-husbands. They all died mysteriously. You need to seriously rethink this.
Welcome to Bad Life, Good Advice. I'm Anya.
And I'm Jen.
We take listener questions and internet dilemmas
and apply common sense to situations that do not need to be this difficult.
On today's episode, we got our very first question from somebody and comments from our last episode.
I know that we're talking about baby gold diggers. We're talking about wives having lives and Timothée Chalamet.
Also, we love your comments, guys. If just drop it in our DM, write it on our Instagram post, and there's a good chance that you'll make it in the show.
Yeah, if you have something that you want to say, we'll happily take into account, angles we didn't think of. And that's basically what happened here.
This was a great angle we didn't even think of.
So to recap, the question that we discussed last week was around a man whose friend offered to pay for everybody for dinner, but then his friend didn't have enough money. So then he sort of roped in all the boys to pay. Okay. And we could not figure out why on earth this person would offer to pay if they didn't have the funds to do it, unless they were romantically interested in one of the ladies. And we kept saying, ooh, he wants the ladies. Well, this viewer pointed out that his love language, as he put it, is gift giving. He just likes to buy people things. And it's not a romantic thing necessarily. He just does it for all of his friends. So it's possible that this guy just really enjoys buying gifts for people. And when I thought about it, I do know people who were completely broke, but still bought things for people because that was their quote unquote love language. Have you ever known anybody like that, Anya?
I have, which is honestly, that's kind of sweet.
It is sweet, but all of our advice still stands. Check your accounts, people. Do not offer to buy things. But it does give a little bit of potential insight.
Maybe he could have done a smaller gift, like he could have got everyone like a shot or a drink or an appetizer,
Yep.
But I really do like that viewpoint, and it's definitely something we didn't think of. So thank you, listener, who commented. We love that.
Yeah, you're just making us better and helping us help more people.
So should I get into our other listener question, our first listener question?
Sure.
This person wrote, is it normal for a wife to want her me time in space and to get back into the social world again, to mingle and to meet new people? Sorry for the total random question, lol. Also, don't be sorry because we love your question.
We really do. And there's no such thing as a random question.
No.
It started somewhere and it's been bubbling up. Get it out. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
So my thoughts, well, first off, we don't have enough information, I think, to really delve deep into this situation. But on its face, no. There's nothing weird about it. Now, if you were to say she has this one particular friend that she spends lots of alone time with, that would be a bit of a red flag. But if she just wants to get out and meet people, that can mean a lot of things. I can name a couple people that I saw at my wedding over 10 years ago that I have not seen since. I don't know why. We just never really got back to hanging out or connecting. And so at some point you realize, oh, I'm older now and all of my, grade school friends are kind of doing their thing and my high school friends moved on and I guess I need some new friends. It's actually really smart not to put all of that onto your spouse. What do you think, Anya?
Maybe your wife is a lot more extroverted than you. This was my own experience. I'm mid-level extroverted, but my fiance is not. So a lot of times I'll just go without him if I want to go to a baseball game with friends or a sports game or something like that. And yeah, sure, sometimes he will go, but a lot of the times I will just leave him at home and we've just accepted that his social energy is much lower than mine. That being said, I always tell him where I'm going. Like I'll even text him if I'm going to a certain place, just both A for safety, but B so he knows where I am. And I check in hey, I'm leaving now when I leave the area. And it would be a completely different thing if I was going out to the clubs and meeting random dudes. But I'm not like that.
Right.
but he is okay with me having fun or like no normal social things too. I
Oh,
also had like a follow-up thought too. It sort of depends on what your wife is doing and how communicative she's being with you. I could see it being really annoying if, she's going out to the bar every night, getting really drunk, somebody is randomly dropping her off, you have to take care of her. I mean, that's an extreme situation,
yes.
but that would be pretty annoying if I had to take care of a drunk person multiple
Yes.
days a week. I think that as long as, maybe it's just girl time, or even if there's like an activity she really likes, because like I knew people at my old job that were like, they told us like, oh, I do soccer like this every Wednesday, and they were in a soccer club. Like that's completely normal to me, or like a volleyball club or something like that. Because, that's healthy, that's exercise, you're meeting new people.
It doesn't really matter though, whether you're a newlywed or whether you've been married for 30 years. But if she looks around and realizes that, oh, like you said, maybe she wants to exercise more, well, then maybe she thinks the best way to do that is to make friends who like to exercise. And that's a really good cheat code into making yourself do something.
And I always think it's way easier to exercise with a friend because then you have somebody else to do it with, but also more motivation. So you don't want to let down your
Yes.
friends. If it's just you going, well, I can skip it. But if three of
Right.
my friends are going, then I'll feel bad by not showing up.
So I think that you just need to keep communication open with her.
Yeah.
And it's on its face, it's not a red flag at all. And the person you marry is not the person you're married to 10 years later.
Oh,
You're
that's
going to
true.
change. And that's okay. That's good. As long as you stay in communication and share your values and make goals together, it's fine if one day she's like, I've kind of been introverted my whole life. I want to be more extroverted now because turns out all the extroverts are busy and I'm lonely. That's not exactly what happened to me, but I'm at a point where I'm like, why didn't I just talk to people more? Like, I was always so shy, but that's so silly. Why? People are nice usually, and if they're not, then forget them. And I feel like I missed out on a lot of really great conversations and a lot of great people. So now I'm actively trying to talk to people more, and it has absolutely nothing to do with my husband. He's great. I love him. We do stuff together all the time, but he doesn't want to go dress shopping with me. He does not want to go makeup shopping with me. He doesn't want to have a podcast where we gossip about celebrities with me. And that's okay. That's what Anya's for.
I think as long as it's fun and healthy and you two are communicating like where she's going, what type of activity she's doing, and she's not like a slob kabosh drunk lady, I think it'll be okay.
I agree. Yeah, no sneakiness, no red flags. It should be fun.
And
So,
again, thank you so much for your question. If you
yes.
have any other questions, please let us know.
Or if there's a follow up or clarification, we'd love to hear it. All right, are we on to our next question? Ladies and gentlemen, I was bummed this week and Anya has done everything.
That's
So,
not entirely true. So, our next question that we both agreed on is, am I the jerk for calling the girl I don't know a gold digger? We thought it was kind of funny. But basically, this guy is his best friend is, according to him, is a tall, handsome man who makes over six figures. And he started hanging out with this girl, a couple of years younger than him, but she has a lower wage job. Like she's a secretary or receptionist. Um, he says that his best friend is into lots of like sports activities and is very active, kind of a go-getter, it seems. And his new girl doesn't seem to have many extracurriculars. She seems a little bit lazy. And he brought up to the point to his friend, like, are you sure this girl isn't into you because of your money and wealth situation? And then his friend defended himself and he was like, no, I really am starting to like her. I know it's been only a couple months, but I think we might have a future together. And then they got into a little bit of an argument, and then he basically ended up telling his friend, I'm just looking out for you, and I just want to make sure that she isn't a gold digger. And now there has been some tension and awkwardness between both of them. Do you think he's a jerk for saying, hey, your girl's a gold digger?
if that's how he said it, then that's a horrible way of saying it, in my opinion.
I agree. It is kind of funny to read
It's
about.
pretty
I'm
funny.
sorry, first.
Yep. We're not laughing at your pain. We're laughing with you. Because if you're not laughing, you're crying, right?
Okay. Oh, and then
I
I should add, sorry, at this point, I guess even though it's been only a couple months, he did add in the post that the girl is really saying, hey, we should get married soon and engaged soon. So maybe that was part of the red flag that he raised his eyebrow because it has been so soon. And she's saying, like, oh, I would love to marry you, kind of a thing. So sorry, I didn't say right away.
Yeah, that's a big deal because if they were just hanging out or dating, it wouldn't be as concerning, I guess, to a friend.
Hmm.
This is one of those issues again where we have the friend's point of view, not the man's or the lady's. So we can
Right.
only go based on what he said. And based on what he said, I think he has a right to be concerned. I don't think that saying, I think she's a gold digger is helping. It's just going to make him mad at you. I don't think it's actually going to help him see anything with her. Actually, it might even blind him to it even further because now he's defensive about it. And when people get defensive, they don't see properly, emotionally, not visually. But maybe visually, I don't know. Maybe there's some science there,
Blinded by love.
right? Some say love is blind. I don't know if that's true.
There's
There's a
that
show though.
show on Netflix.
Watch at your own risk. It's addicting.
It's a funny show. I like it.
So I thought this was interesting because this is sort of the exact opposite situation from the first question. The first question was the man was concerned that his wife was looking to meet people and do things, whereas this guy's concerned that his friend likes to meet people and do things, but it doesn't seem like the girl he's dating has, you said, doesn't really have any hobbies. And it doesn't sound like she even necessarily shares his values or his hobbies. We have no idea if she has a lot of friends. That wasn't mentioned. But I don't think that's necessarily a red flag because you can have totally different hobbies. That's fine. But I guess it's always so hard to evaluate what people bring to a relationship. Because how do you know when you've met somebody? How do you know when you've met the one? I just spoke to a woman yesterday and she told me she's an older woman now and she has grown grandchildren. And she told
Mhm.
me she met her husband in college and 6 weeks later they were engaged. And 3 months later they were married and they lived happily
Aw,
ever after until he passed away.
that's so nice.
It was such a beautiful story. But how do you explain that? Oh, yeah, after 6 weeks of talking, we knew. They were both in college. They didn't have any track record of being successful or having hobbies or being go getters. They were just students. And so it is, I will caution you to judge people's relationships from the outside too harshly. And the only red flags I'm hearing is you think that he's more attractive than she is. You think that he makes more money than she does. And she's interested in getting married right away. And that last one is concerning. And statistically, people usually do marry people who are on the same level of attractiveness, but not always, right? So, yes, you were definitely the jerk for how you said it. And unless there's more evidence, I think that you were too aggressive. Am I missing something on you?
Well, I just wanted to say I really like the similarity and the parallel you just made between the first situations and the
Thank
second
you.
situation. I didn't think about that, so I appreciate that. Um, I do think that maybe just because this person is best friends with this other person, like if you want your best friend to date someone great, you know what I mean? So maybe
Yes.
there's that little jaded angle that I could just try to play devil's advocate a little bit, just to sort of understand how this friend was thinking. That being said, my other thought is that's what prenups are for, people, which might be harsh. But I mean, if I were to get married, which I am, but neither of us are very rich, so it's not like we would need a prenup necessarily. If I had millions of dollars or made six figures, maybe I would rethink about that. The other thing is, he's sort of just looking at this from the outside, and then if they've only been dating for a couple months, how well does he really know this girl that his friend is dating? Because they only met a couple of times. This is just based on what his friend has mentioned about her. So I definitely think that you did overstep your boundaries by just saying, hey, I think she might be a gold digger. And there's definitely a softer way to say things. Like maybe you could have told your friends, is it a little concerning to you that she doesn't seem to be that ambitious or that she seems to be a little bit lazier when you're more of a go-getter? You guys have a lot of things in common, like more take it that angle to get him to think a little bit for himself. But at the same time, it's really can't interject yourself in between a relationship because that usually ends badly. So you just kind of
Yes.
got to let it run its course. And maybe, who knows, maybe they'll break up in a couple more months if they've only been freshly dating. Or maybe they're the love of each other's lives and you're just completely wrong.
50-50 at this point.
Yeah. But really, that's kind of your friend's situation. And even if he marries her, and let's say the worst case scenario, she is a gold digger, well, I guess that's more of his problem than your problem. I mean, at least you're not the one marrying her.
The last thing you should do is say, I told you so.
Yes, don't do
Oh,
that.
do not say that. Unless you want
Mm-mm.
to end the friendship.
Right. Now, if maybe if over time your friend had like a history or re was repeating this scenario where he keeps finding women that are only dating him for his money, you might want to have him think about that possibly, but at the same time, enter that territory at your own risk too. So,
It's really hard to look at your best friend and think that anybody's good enough for them. So I do like that you brought that up because, like, this guy sounds like he's kind of got a little bit of a man crush on his friend. You know,
you know,
he makes money, he
he's
runs,
really tall,
he's tall
handsome.
and he's athletic. It's like, and I'm not saying that you're like in love with him secretly. I'm just saying that you look at him and think the best because he's your best friend. And so obviously only a multi-million-dollar CEO supermodel woman would be perfect for him. But that's very nice of you to think that. But that's not maybe what he wants. Sometimes two ambitious people work really well together. And sometimes an ambitious person needs a really chill person. And that's what they need.
Actually, I'm so glad you brought up that point because my fiance is like very type A, and I'm very type B. But he says that that's one of the main things he likes about me because I tell him to relax and not take things so seriously, and I think it works. So I would just give this relationship time, and if it works out, amazing. If not, then you probably don't have to worry about it.
I think it would be good for you to get to know the woman, his girlfriend, and ask her questions, right? Like, why are you interested in marrying so fast? And maybe you find out that she's actually the granddaughter of the woman I met who was engaged after 6 weeks. And she just has this, this mental story in her head that, oh, it's love at first sight. That's how true love works. And it's not anything nefarious. Or maybe you find out that she has a pattern of dating men and divorcing them and taking all of their money. I doubt it.
Or maybe you
But
find out she's $100,000 in credit card debt, then you can tell your
yeah,
friend that. Who knows?
but you should get to know her. And then you'll at least get more evidence. Hopefully, it's evidence that she's just a good person
Right.
with just different values, maybe, or a different type
Mhm.
of personality than you were expecting. But if you do see any actual evidence of massive red flags, then you can go to him and say, hey, she's got four ex-husbands. They all died mysteriously. She's got $100,000 credit card debt. You need to seriously rethink this. But
Hopefully
then
that's not the case.
I hope not, and I doubt
This
it.
will turn into a true crime podcast.
Oh no, I don't want that. That's so dark.
I think
Mhm,
that's our advice is try to take some first off, maybe apologize to your friend for being a little harsh and
mhm.
maybe try to amend the situation by inviting them both to your house or out to eat or something so you could make an effort into trying to get to know his new girlfriend a little bit. And then just see how it goes from there. For our third area, things that should apply to your life, but you don't know that they apply to your life, but they should apply to your life in case they do. Our topic this week is about Oscar season, which is tonight. The Oscars. So this is
Not for you guys.
yeah,
For
this
us,
is
not for you.
recorded pre-Oscars. But basically, Timothée Chalamet is his movie Marty Supreme is up for 9 Oscar nominations, including Best Performance by Actor, Best Original Screenplay, Best Motion Picture of the Year. And it's about Marty Reisman, who was a real life legendary table tennis player known as Needle, and basically follows his life. It's basically about a scrappy kid that had way too much ego and confidence. The character in the film that Timothée Chalamet plays is kind of an anti-hero, where it's like every situation he gets into is kind of worse than the last, and you don't know how he's going to get out of it. He's also very narcissistic. However, it's played in such a way that he's so good at the game and he's so passionate about his sport that you still can't help but root for him, and even in these terrible scenarios he gets himself into. And it's already won the Critics' Choice Awards, London Film Critics Awards, ESTR Awards. However, during the campaign season, and as much as a film is good, you also have to campaign for it pretty heavily during the campaign season if you want to win the Oscar. So in interview with Matthew McConaughey, in a Variety interview, Timothy said, I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though like no one cares about this anymore. This has been making people in Hollywood pretty mad. Even Steven Spielberg disagreed and said, and there's been a lot of reports that members of the voting academy are very upset by this. And it's kind of like a funny thing just because like he sort of played this egotistical character in the movie, and then in the interview he was like kind of coming off a bit egotistical. But do you think it'll ruin his chances? Also, there's a lot of other movies up for the Academy Awards. Like Sinners has a ton of nominations, and Michael B. Jordan might just clinch it anyway because his performance was really good. So it's not, there are other excellent movies out there. Do you think Timothée Chalamet should have been more careful what he said? What do you think is going to happen?
I didn't know until this story that you had a campaign for your movie to get an Oscar.
Yeah, like as much as mu movies are expensive, you have to also like campaign in interviews about your movie, do a lot of advertising to kind of keep pleasing the Academy, I guess. I actually just heard a Apple podcast about it today that you have to spend a lot of money to promote your movie before to get people to see it, but also afterward a little bit if you want to be memorable to the Academy. Also, I don't know who the Academy is or who these people are that are voting, but you got to make yourself known.
I hate everything about this. What movies are getting more and more okay, so what was his point? His point was that he wants to be part of movies because people actually see movies. Although I think
Mhm.
some of the conversation with Matthew McConaughey was, how do you keep people going to the movies? Because fewer people do see the movies now, right? Like I can just wait two
Yeah.
weeks and then stream it. Maybe I have to pay $5. Who cares? Why would I waste all my time and energy going to movie theater? And so his point was nobody's going to ballet or opera. Statistically, I did not look that up, but when was the last time you went to the ballet or the opera?
Been a long time.
I saw the Nutcracker this year, not exactly brand new to the scene. And that was only because a friend of my daughter's was going and tickets were cheap. You have to spend a bunch of money, and Brown knows a bunch of people. If you want to get this award, then he did the wrong thing. But is that how we should be giving awards to movies? This is why the Oscars are flipping irrelevant. I mean, how many times are there 14 people or whatever movies listed for Best Picture? And you're like, well, I've seen one of them and I've heard of
Yeah.
three of them. What are all these other movies? Nobody cares. They're stupid and they're irrelevant.
Sometimes the Oscars do try to pick like an unknown movie to highlight it, but people haven't seen it. Like last year's pick was Anora, which was a super good movie. I watch a lot of movies, in case you can tell. But I didn't hear about it until it like won the Oscar, and I was like, oh well, now I want to watch it. But it was actually like a very low. Well, I mean, they say it's a low budget film. I think it was like $6 or $7 million to make. But you're totally right that the movie industry has completely changed since COVID, because like that was really when the streaming got really big, in my opinion.
Mm,
Because why go out if you can watch it at home? And
yes.
then I think it was starting to come back, but then with the Hollywood writer strike, then it kind of dipped again. So, but I watch so many movies at home now as opposed to me going to the theater to watch it.
Yes. I just got a projector for my basement. So if we want a movie night, we'll do that. From the research I did, the Oscars voting deadline had passed by the time he made that comment to Matthew
Oh,
McConaughey on the variety show.
oh, well then I guess people are blowing it out of proportion, and I didn't know that.
That's what I saw. I believe it was on a People article. It said that, like towards the bottom. So,
Okay.
does it affect his Oscars? Not necessarily. But the whole point of the article was that his whole personality may have affected it. But what on earth has Hollywood ever cared about somebody being morally upright, being a morally good person? Everybody is so egotistical. I mean, what's her face has a candle that smells like her, you know what, or hoo ha.
Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow, I think, right?
Yeah, isn't she in the movie with
She is in the
did you
movie.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she up? I mean, nobody's like, oh, well, she's pretty narcissistic for selling Lady Bits candles. But what? He says something which is honestly possibly true. And there was one video, I think you sent me the clip where the person summarizing the story said, he comes from a family of ballerinas. How could he possibly say such a thing? Lady, he comes from a family of ballerinas. He's aware of the situation, right? I mean, actually, when we did see the Nutcracker, they had this whole spiel midway with one of the football players from the football team say, hey, we really need your donations. That's how we keep these tickets at a reasonable price point because it's so expensive to put on and nobody wants to pay for it. They're literally being kept alive by donations. And that's the Nutcracker. People see the Nutcracker every year. So I don't think he's wrong. I don't just based on this one particular thing he said, because I don't really know that much about him, other than he is a very good actor. I don't think he was wrong to say what he said. But if you hurt somebody's feelings and those people get to decide on a whim who gets the award, then maybe he's not going to get the award. But this is why awards are stupid. And you should not rely on external validation for your inner peace, people. This is how the thing that doesn't apply to you applies to you.
Everybody's gonna want Timothée Chalamet in their movie. Like he's not gonna lose jobs over this, you know?
Right. This isn't like he was caught beating a puppy and people aren't going to see the movie
Yeah,
because of him. But you're going to have like 8 people who are like, I did ballet when I was 7. He hurt my feelings.
right.
Come on. Nobody cares.
I think one of those kinds of things of like the line being taken out of context, because it's like how many interviews and promotions has he done
Mm-hmm.
for this film, even after
Yes.
this film has premiered? Like, if you, there's so much scrutiny, like,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm sure people could literally pull all of our podcasts and find one line that one of us had said sometime and been like, oh, well, look at these bozos.
They could do that with the
Please
whole
don't do that,
podcast.
listeners. But you know,
Well, and then he did follow it up with no offense to the ballet and opera,
right.
because he wasn't trying to say that he didn't care about them or that nobody should care about
Mhm.
them. He was simply saying he doesn't think that people do. And that's an opinion. You're the best actor because of your acting ability. I'm sorry, am I screaming? Do I sound insane?
You sound very passionate.
I'm very passionate. I want the best actor to be the best actor, not the best schmoozer, not the best budget for the campaign. I don't want there to be a campaign. I think that it's stupid that movies cost this much money to promote
Even
because
to
it's
me,
not.
yeah.
I mean, but a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, it costs this much to make the movie," but we don't know what their marketing budget is. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Well, they'll talk about a big movie and it flops, and it's like, well, they spent $100 million, but then they got $120 million. How is it a flop? Well, we have no idea what they spent on marketing. Oh, that's how they lost money. Why did they lose money? If you're promoting a movie and these people are annoying you as much as they're annoying me, we'll interview you on the podcast
Yes, we will.
for free. No strings attached. We'll let you see the edit. We won't make you look bad unless you like kick puppies or something. All the free publicity you want. All 7 of our viewers.
I will say there are a lot of good movies up for this award season, but I actually really like this film. It was great. It was the ending makes the film is all I'm gonna say.
I have not seen this movie, but now I'm going to see this movie. I might even pay to see this movie. I might just donate to Timothée Chalamet's Buy Me a New Jet Ski Fund, just out of spite. I don't think he has that. I made it
I don't
up,
think he has a GoFundMe for Jessica.
oh, that's just so stupid. I mean, he might be a total jerk. I have no idea. But I just assume that most people in Hollywood are total jerks. Oh my gosh. I can't even with these people. And you're right. Who the heck is the Academy? What is the
That's what I
Academy?
want to know is who are these people, but like who are these people that are voting to
What
hand out
right?
these
Are you
awards?
and what's the difference between the Academy Awards and then there's the Oscars and then there's Esther Awards? Who is Esther?
It's like awards season right now, so there's lots of different types of awards.
Yes, I know the Oscar, the little golden guy. Listen, all I'm saying is I'm not interested unless there's a chance that whoever wins gets green slime on their head. Because I'm cultured.
There's lots of good movies, there's lots of good actors, so it's out of our control. But my take is I would definitely probably watch a Timothée Chalamet movie in the future.
Oh, I haven't seen Marty Supreme, but he was great in Dune and he was amazing in that Wonka movie. And those are such 2 different characters that I was
No, I
impressed.
think he's an incredible actor. So how do all these 3 topics run themselves together?
Who you surround yourself with matters. Whether you need new friends because you're just looking to change your life up a little bit, meet some new people, or maybe your husband's an introvert, whether you are starting to date new people and maybe they have different hobbies or values, or whether you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of hoity-toity, stick up their you-know-what's Oscar voters.
I want to know how you become one.
And if you think that ballet sucks, then you should be able to say that. I like ballet. I really do. I enjoyed the Nutcracker.
I really like ballet too. I also like Timothée Chalamet movies. My advice is just be kind to people. Like, be mindful that your wife might want to try new things and new activities, and keep an open mind. So that's my first advice. Keep an open mind. 2, going back to the be kind people. I know you want the best for your best friend, but being so blunt and harsh can take the opposite effect. C, for Timothée Chalamet, it's kind of refreshing. He's not to the point where he's so careful about what he says during award campaign season, because what he said really wasn't that bad. I don't know. Maybe people who love art are just offended that Timothée Chalamet was bashing art.
But isn't this a thing that artists have just dealt with since the beginning of time? You don't understand my painting. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you taped a banana to the wall with some duct tape. It's not art, that's stupid.
Yeah, it sold
And
for a
that,
lot of money. So it's genius.
or is it genius that, I don't know, man. People are stupid.
But it is
Also,
art
art,
is like doing like a whole brand new concept that nobody's seen before. So that is art in the sense of like nobody up until that point has thought to make a painting of a rotting banana with a real banana.
but the whole point here is people are mad that ballet and opera are not brand new. So I guess art is just so subjective. All right, so I think that basically wraps up our episode.
Yeah,
And thank you for coming. If you have any questions, comments, reviews, we love to hear them. We're trying to get better. If we're doing something great, let us know so we can keep doing it. If you have any questions, of course, you can go ahead and email us at badlifegoodadvice@gmail.com. Of course, our Instagram is badlifegoodadvice. And then I have one that's badlifegoodadvice So go ahead and comment or DM any questions you have for us. Anya, do you have the TikTok?
I just opened a TikTok, but I have not posted videos yet. But our TikTok is Bad Life Good Advice. Now for a lovely
From
disclaimer. So we are not doctors, lawyers, therapists, psychologists. We're not on the Oscars.
We are not financial advisors. We are not gold diggers. We are not true crime reporters.
Please don't make us be true crime reporters.
We don't want to be true crime reporters. Oh my goodness.
No, we don't want to be involved in that type of scandal.
Nope.
Inadvertently.
But we could be, we could have an interview show where we interview actors if you want to come on our show.
Definitely. We're
Yep.
not actors. Well, no. I have been an actor before.
Oh,
I was in a play. I was the Mother Pig to the Three Little Pigs when I was 10.
there you go. I have never been in a play, and I suspect I will never be in a play. And I will definitely never be in an opera or a ballet.
That was really poetic.
It rhymed, not on
It
purpose.
really did.
Maybe I'll be a slam poet.
We're not boomers, Gen X, or Gen Alpha. We're millennials.
Clearly, we are very much
I hate us.
millennials.
Yeah.
But we are not professional millennials. We're not professional
No.
anything.
No, we're not.
Barely professional adults.
Barely.
So if you need a professional, go seek one out, not us.
Not us.
There are plenty of people who can help you. And until next time, have a good life.
Have a good life.
Stories discussed may be sourced from publicly available online forums and are summarized for commentary purposes.